Hey everybody, welcome to Blabbin' About Slabbin', and today we're going to talk about a Grail card, Chris.
This was really, really exciting. Probably like a high point in Jeff and my collecting journey. We have a bunch of high-end cards that we really like, but we had agreed if a Grail card like this becomes available, we thought we could sell some of these high-end cards, pool some money together, and make a legitimate offer on it. This was nerve-wracking, Jeff. But we found, after the Burbank show, we found just the card we were looking for. A Bowman Chrome Blue Auto for Ohtani in a BGS 9.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the Bowman Chrome batting image as his best rookie image, and we've wanted to get an auto, a non-auto. We wanted to get one for some time.
Yeah, it really feels like that card number 1 at a Bowman Chrome. It feels like that's going to be the card. At least in our opinion and other collectors we've talked to, it feels like that's going to be the card. So this blue auto was there. It was there for the taking. We talked about it. We looked at some cards we had, and we thought we'd come up with a number. So we made this guy an offer on his card, and then we sat there biting our fingernails and anxiously waiting, and he accepted the offer. And we had that moment, Jeff, of excitement and terror.
You want him to say yes, but at the same time, we knew the stakes. We knew what we'd have to do if he did agree to the offer.
That's right. So he agreed on Sunday, and we were going to meet him the following Saturday.
Well, he wanted in cash, right?
Yep.
And we had cards, but we needed cash.
We needed cash.
In 5 days, we needed to come up with $15,000.
I'm sweating just thinking about it.
It was a sweat.
It was time, Jeff. It was time for us to quite literally put our money where our mouth was.
That's true. We've talked a lot about consolidating, and if you really believe in something, moving smaller cards to get to a bigger card. And this was our chance to really try it.
If you're ever interested in doing something like this, we'll talk you through what we did, how we did it, and how we have less hair now than we did, a week ago.
More grays, for sure.
Exactly. All right, so step 1 was posting and listing. So we hit eBay, MySlabs, Facebook, and some Instagram stories. And we put a bunch of stuff out there.
That was a tough decision, just deciding which ones to part with. And obviously, the cards we'd want to sell would probably get us to about $500. So
all right,
we had to dip into cards we didn't want to sell. And then we got posting. And what was the first one to get a hit?
Well, the first card we got a hit on was the one we knew would probably be the first card to get a hit on. And that's the Shohei Ohtani Topps Update Batting SSP in a PSA 10. This is one we've had for a while. And it was one that we really had looked at and we're like, this stays with us forever. It's his best flagship image. This is our card. But
we love super short prints. We love SSPs. And here's one of the better SSPs of the most collectible player in the hobby. But as we've also talked about too, when we're trying to sell to get to another card, it helps when you're selling the same player to get to the other player, because then you feel like, well, even if the cards go up, your cards that you buy are probably going to go up. So that was some solace in selling Ohtani.
Yes, that is an excellent point. So we made a deal for this card actually that same night. We were off and running. And we got the last sale at the time was on eBay for about $3,200, and we made a deal via Facebook, oddly enough, for $3,000 for $3,000, even on Venmo, no fees. Just cost us $10 to ship, priority. So right away, we're $2,990 into the bank, and almost 20% of the way there.
Yeah, it was a great start in day one. Then it made me feel like we could actually do it. So there was sadness seeing that card leave the collection, but it also gave me some excitement thinking we could get there. Yes. And a quick note about Facebook sales. There are groups on Facebook that collect certain players. So if you're looking to sell or you collect a player, that's a good way to find a community of like-minded collectors. There's all the big players have some Facebook groups, and this particular one was a Shohei Ohtani group, Chris, right?
Yes, both of us. I will also say, as Jeff said, when you sell a player to buy a player, within a week, this very same card sold for just over $4,000 on eBay. Yeah. And so while that's a bummer to a point, we also know, because we sold Ohtani to buy Ohtani, that the whole market for Ohtani, is raising. So it's not quite the punch in the gut that it might feel like, because we also feel like the car we bought, is going up as well.
Exactly.
But yeah, so one down. Now, shortly after that, sometime on Monday, we got a message that our other update SSP Ohtani, the pitching white jersey image variation in a 10, we got a message from a seller who was very interested. We were able to guide or a buyer, sorry, we were able to then guide that buyer over to MySlabs. And after a little bit of back and forth, we sold this pitching variation for $21.79, which at the time was higher than the previous comp. So that felt pretty good.
It felt good. And MySlabs, for those of you who haven't used it, it's a great platform because the fees are much less than on eBay.
Our sales price was $21.79, and we netted $2,043.82 after shipping and PayPal fees.
Yeah, so there's just a slight site fee. Then you've got your eBay or PayPal fees, like Chris said, and with shipping, but it's much cheaper than on eBay. The downside is there's not as many eyeballs and not as many people know about MySlabs. So if you're looking to buy, it might also be a way to get some cheaper bargains. So definitely check out MySlabs.
Yes. So at this point, Jeff, we're 2 cards in. We've already crossed $5,000 in sales proceeds. That puts us 33% of the way there.
33,
which,
great.
if my math is correct, also means 67%. Down to 67% likely to get divorced.
Okay.
So
yeah. Progress for both. Progress on both ends, right?
Yes, indeed. But the next card up, Jeff, was not a Shohei Ohtani card.
No, and we're trying to sell a player to buy a player, but we only have so many high-end Shohei Ohtani, so we knew we'd need to sell some other cards as well. And another player who's pretty hot right now is Juan Soto. So we had a couple Juan Sotos that we thought maybe we could part with, and the one that got the bite was
his Bowman's Best Gold Refractor Auto. Now, I want to take a minute and talk about this card. This is a card Jeff and I bought a while back, and we were confident at the time that the on-card auto in Bowman's Best would give it a nudge in the right direction. It would set it apart, because his Topps Chrome rookie autos are all stickers. So we really thought that as time went by, the importance of the auto being on card would really start to bump Bowman's Best up. Normally, Bowman's Best is a cool set, but it's a second tier set.
It's a second tier set.
Topps Chrome, definitely the better set. But again, we really thought the on-card auto was going to make a difference in the long term. And recently, a Topps Chrome Gold Soto auto in a 10 sold for $11,000 on eBay. And the Bowman's Best Red at a 10 sold for $6,000. So we realized that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. We've talked a lot on the channel about Juan Soto's lack of on-card rookie autos. There really aren't too many options. So we thought Bowman's Best was one of his top options. And obviously there's the Heritage Redding, which is tier 1. But as far as tier 2 goes, there's not a lot of gold. There's not a lot of gold refractors with Soto's rookie auto on. So we thought it would make up a little more ground on that Topps Chrome, but we just had to come to terms that it just has not. So that was hard to part with, but necessary.
It was, and that was another deal with a gentleman we met on Instagram, a person we had sort of chatted with before, talked cards before. We were able to actually meet him in person. My wife said it was utter lunacy to drive to a park and meet someone I'd never met and make an exchange of cash and a baseball card, but I survived, and the other guy survived. I promise you, the other guy's alive. So that worked out. So that was a cash deal for $2,250. Cha-ching. We add that in. That gets us almost halfway there, Jeff. Our current total, $7,283.82.
Yes, halfway there. But like Chris said, that the Topps version of that same card with the sticker auto sold for $11,000, more than 4 times as much. It's just hard to get my head around. So it's a little frustrating. We have to accept that we kind of had to take an L on that a little bit. But we know that the money's going to a good cause.
Like we said, halfway point. One card we gotten a lot of nibbles on in the few days that we had it listed was a Bryce Harper. Yeah, this one is in a Bowman Draft. This is Bowman Draft rookie chrome autograph. It just feels like we're pulling random words out and putting them in whatever order. Yep. Really cool card, great image, big bold autograph. But when it comes to Bryce Harper, like Topps Chrome is always going to be his #1 rookie autograph. And so while we like this card, we have some other Harpers, maybe not on this level, but we do like Ohtani more than Harper. So this one became expendable. We fielded a couple offers. And we ended up going with a gentleman from Instagram that we actually know pretty well. So very easy. It was PayPal friends and family. So that card, we got $2,600 via PayPal, $10 for priority shipping, nets us $25.90, and we are on the cusp of $10,000 in card proceeds. And this was day 3, I believe. So we're at $9,873.82. So we're getting close. We're getting close, Jeff.
Yeah, we're getting close, and our deadline's also getting close. So we know that we've still got to come up with some. So we have to be a little aggressive to try to get that extra $5,000 that we need to find.
Yeah, we had another Shohei Ohtani card that Jeff and I just loved. We loved how it looked. We love the sort of the retro feel to it, the retro design. 2020 Topps Chrome, 1985 autograph. These are numbered out of 20. Really cool, and definitely one that Jeff and I had, one we looked at a lot. This one, you can tell by my voice and the fact that Jeff's a little slumped over. This one hurt. This one hurt to move, but we did reach out and we made a deal.
Yeah, and it just with this card, it goes to show that value alone doesn't make a card hard to part with. You can get attached to cards of different values. The value of the Harper, for instance, was higher than this Ohtani, but just the nostalgia factor, the way this card looks, it's a card that we were so excited to pick up that makes it hard to part with.
It was very sad to see it go. We ended up, what was the deal here? We had $1,650. Jeff met this guy in cash. So again, no fees, no shipping, thankfully, just money right in the Ohtani bank, so to speak.
Another cash deal. Yeah.
So that puts us at $11,523.82.
Yeah. And I just want to give another side note here. This card and a couple of the other cards we've talked about and will talk about, it lessens the sting a little bit to get rid of a card that we love when we know it's going to a good home. There's some cards, that are just going to be flipped, and who knows, you'll probably never see them again. But there's some collectors like this gentleman who bought this Ohtani auto where they feel like it's going to be a centerpiece of their collection. And maybe it will, and maybe down the road, they're going to end up consolidating and getting a bigger card as well, of course. But at least for the short term, makes you feel a little better when somebody is a big player collector or a set collector and they really need this card and want to enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah. And I have no doubt this guy's going to enjoy the card. And yeah, but of the stuff we sold, this might be one of the two that I've thought about the most since it was gone. Since it's been gone, as Kelly Clarkson would say. We're looking at our pile. We're looking at our cards, and we're like, okay, there's a couple different paths we can use to get there. But we went back to Soto. The Soto well was working for us, and we decided to sell one of his Topps Update Gold, numbered out of 2018 for Soto in a PSA 10. What's the pop on that, Jeff?
All right, the pop is 263, which when you think about it, it's not very high because, like Chris says, it's numbered out of the year. But the problem with these is they had very delicate corners front and back. So there's not a lot of gems. The gems out there are pretty sought after. But like Chris said, it is a liquid card. So you kind of know the price where it's going to be.
And the last comp on this was $1,300 on eBay. So we agreed at $1,200 on MySlabs, just kind of removing the extra fees that you get from eBay. Worked out for buyer and seller. We netted $11,036.16, which puts us at $12,669.98. And that finish line is getting closer.
Getting really close. And one other note, when we're talking about selling, one thing that helps is if you have your eBay name the same as your Instagram name. You try to keep a consistent name with all the selling sites and
Yeah.
your personal sites, because then people are able to find you. And we've done that a lot, where you look on eBay and see the name, and then you go on Instagram and try to find them. So that's just one tip I would keep in mind.
Yes, that I can't tell you how many times that's worked. I've gotten messages on eBay like, "Hey, is this your card?" And yeah, I'm I'm a baseball card addict on eBay. Jeff is my favorite cardboard on eBay, and it's just,
Yeah.
he's right. It makes a big difference. Save those fees, save those sales tax anytime you can.
Yeah.
All right, now the finish line for our bank is getting closer, but as Jeff pointed out earlier, Saturday is getting closer, and it's Friday now, and we're sweating. We're sweating a little bit.
Yeah.
We listed 2 more cards, and both of these cards we thought were PC cards forever. The first one is a 2011 Topps Chrome Freddie Freeman in a red refractor in a PSA 9. Now, there's no PSA 10s. I think there's 3 PSA 9s. So this is essentially the highest graded copy of his red refractor at a 25. And the other one was, of course, if you follow our channel, we love SSPs, and you also know I love Stadium Club Gold Minted. So we also floated out there the possibility of our 2018 Ohtani Gold Minted PSA 10. The best gold minted card ever, Jeff.
Yes,
right?
this is the best gold minted card ever. It's very tough to part with. We thought it would be in the collection, but yes, both of those. You know how much Chris likes Freddie Freeman. Both cards near and dear to his heart. This was tough to see him have to even decide which one. It was like a kind of a Sophie's choice moment for Chris.
I'm wriggling around here. Like I get uncomfortable just thinking about this. I will say one thing we learned, a card like that, Freddie Freeman, there are no public sales of a red refractor rookie card. And sometimes when that happens, it's really difficult to nail down a price.
Good point.
And nail down a value. There was a PSA 9 gold that sold about 2 weeks ago now for about almost $1,400, $1,380, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Gold's at a 50, the red's at a 25. What's the multiplier? I mean, I think there was a lot of different opinions. We got a bunch of messages about this card. Probably at least a dozen people reached out. They were interested, but they just didn't know how to value it.
No, and to that end, we talked to several collectors, Freeman collectors, Bowman collectors, asking their opinions, and we got a wide range of opinions on prices. So it just, if you don't have the market setting the price, it makes it really tough.
Yes. So our options became essentially, do we just run this up for bids, which is the best way to determine its value, put it out for auction and see what happens, or we did get interest in that gold minted Ohtani. And it was a gentleman that we know from Instagram, a good buddy of ours. We met in person with a great collection. And he made us we reached a pretty quick consensus on value on that card. So we just decided, selling that Ohtani, Jeff, felt like someone pulling one of my fingernails out.
Yeah, that was one that when we got it and managed to get the gem on it, we thought it was going to be a PC card forever. So that was tough to part with. As I mentioned before, it eased the pain a little bit, knowing it's going to a good home. This gentleman has an amazing collection, puts together runs of cards, and this seems to fit into what he's going for. So I know we're going to see it in the future, and if it's not with us, I'm glad it's with him.
But the deal we reached, I think fair for both parties, $2,500, PayPal, friends and family. So again, no fees, $10 to ship. That's us $24.90, Jeff, which puts us just over $15,000.
Just in time. Just in time.
In the nick of time.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Saturday morning, very, very excited, like 2 kids on Christmas. Jeff and I were up early, pacing, drove over to the Burbank card shop to meet our seller.
We handed over a couple envelopes, and we came home with this beauty.
Oh, man. I tell you, when we first saw this card in person, it was all worth it. I stopped thinking about the gold minted Ohtani. I stopped thinking about the hitting image and the batting image SSP. And now I literally only think about this card.
After we parted, went our separate ways, I texted Chris just asking if he had any regrets, and he said no. and asked if I did, and I said no too. And that's one thing we've talked about before when we consolidated on a much lower level than this. But once you get the card, the Grail card you're going for, it's a little bit easier to forget about those other cards. Now they were extra special cards to us, so we're not going to completely forget about them. But like Chris said, it's when you get that card, it's easy to think about that instead of the other ones.
Yeah, but it 100% worth it. We said it before. I think that Bowman Chrome Auto is going to be Ohtani's best card. It's card number 1 in that set, which kind of gives a little bit more gravitas, maybe. Very limited autos. There's no refractor. The base is short printed, so you got base green if you want to go green, blue, gold, orange, red. I mean, that's it.
That's it. It's an iconic image.
Yeah. So that's what we did. And it was very satisfying. There was just enough money left over, to take both of our wives out to a relatively inexpensive dinner.
McDonald's.
Yeah. But so that was our experience in consolidating. We thought we'd take you guys through our thought process and how it went and how nerve-wracking it can be.
So let us know in the comments if you think we made the right decision. If we did the right thing, please let us know what you think. I'm interested to know if people believe that consolidating is the way to go, like we do, or if it'd be better just to have held on to all those other individual cards.